Welcome to Sound Values, powered in part by LSA Burger.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in live tonight on DentonRadio.com for Sound Values, sponsored by LSA Burger Company, located in the beautiful Discover Welcome Center and on the kind of hot, a bit muggy, but there's a nice breeze rolling through Denton Square. I'm sitting here right now with my man, DJ Party McFly, also known around the town as some people Matt Pohl, but DJ Party McFly, the man with the plan, throwing it down on Tuesday nights at Andy's always, man. How you doing this evening?
Hey, pretty good. Thanks for having me out.
Oh man, it's a pleasure. You know, I've been trying to get a few different people on the show for a while now, and I was like, you know, it's time. It's time. We've had Juicy, we've had Pudge. You know, I've had a lot of people that you associate yourself with and watch a little baseball with. You know,
yeah, a little bit.
You know, which we will talk about the baseball knowledge.
Right.
First thing I want to talk about, man, is this shirt that you've got on, real quick.
Oh, yeah?
So who is this on the front of this shirt?
Well, that's John Daly.
John Daly. Okay.
He's a golfer.
Yeah, man. I remember actually watching that guy golf a few times.
Mullet, cigs, and booze.
Well, he has a pretty amazing mullet going, that's for sure, man. That's for sure. I loved it when I saw you walking. I was like,
appreciate it.
That's classic, man. So real quick, man, I just want to kind of get to know a few things about you, man. We'll kind of dive into more about the music here in a second. But
right.
Where are you originally from?
I was born in Denton.
Born in Denton?
Yeah.
Right on, man. So
Flow Hospital. It's not there anymore.
Man, that's original right there.
Yeah.
I've been here for so long, the hospital's not even around anymore. That's incredible. So what high school did you go to in Denton?
I went to Ryan.
Ryan. All right, man. Ryan High School. So when it comes to, like, music and stuff like that, you know, I feel like a lot of people can be influenced by siblings, parents. Was there anything – what kind of music was being played in your household growing up?
You know, my parents had a lot of records that they were listening to. Like, I know they're into, like, James Taylor and Billy Joel and that kind of stuff. I remember like really getting pumped about music, watching Back to the Future, and when he's, you know, doing his Johnny B. Good thing.
Mm-hmm.
My mom had an old guitar that I used to play with. Apparently, my dad used to play banjo, but I think my mom got rid of it. He wasn't too good.
She wasn't feeling that, huh?
No.
Yeah, you know, he had to focus on other things instead of his banjo career.
Yeah, I think she was one like something about the neighborhood cats, like. Couldn't even drown it out with their fighting.
That's too funny. So I gotta ask. So Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And I see, you know, Marty McFly.
Mm-hmm.
Does that kind of correlate to each other?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely one of my favorite movies. Airheads is another one. I've always thought about coming in Airheads and your radio show. Thanks for having me on, so I don't have to do that. But you know,
just take the takeover.
Yeah, I just want to be heard. You know, but when I was, you know, getting started with the DJ stuff, every week I would just come up with a different DJ name, and eventually I was like, well, I gotta just stick with one. There was a lot of good ones. DJ Scratch and Ball Z was one I liked. DJ Turnt Reynolds.
Turnt Reynolds, I love that.
DJ Steve Twerkle, you know, I'm out here.
Yeah, you got to come up with the different hilarious ways. I mean, you're well known for also your hilarious flyers that you post, man. Like,
yeah, appreciate that.
The one that you have for the gig that we're doing.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I've got you with me tomorrow.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, every time I saw that, man, I laughed so hard.
Yeah,
I'll get it pulled up here eventually. But the white dudes can't jump poster was awesome. You know, we did that a few months ago together, and it was a good time, man. So
I like to do one of those every week, just kind of.
Yeah, you always. I mean, like the one with Juicy the Emissary. Which one was that? The movie? What is that from?
I've done multiple with him.
Yeah.
I've got a Laverne and Shirley one. Sleepless in Seattle.
Okay.
There's a few good ones with
Gotta
Juice.
like the Sleepless in Seattle one.
Yeah,
man.
you know, I just like when I'm working with Juice, I gotta make sure we keep it real romantic.
I understand.
He's such a sweetheart.
I understand that.
Yeah.
He truly is. He is. So, you know, your parents listen to James Taylor, Billy Joel, you know, but growing up, you know, what kind of music were you listening to when you started to develop your own kind of musical taste?
I think the first album that like I really, really was feeling was like a Weird Al album, actually.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know these songs that he's, you know, parodying.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, you know, 80s music and 70s music, I guess at that time was what he was doing. I had no idea, like, but, you know, I thought it was awesome, you know.
Yeah,
so,
was it the album Running with Scissors?
No, way
Oh, it was way
earlier than
before that
yeah,
one, because I loved that one when I was growing up.
See, I thought he'd kind of sold out by then.
Oh,
not
I
really.
didn't know, man.
No, he had like a greatest hits album like 20 years before that even came out.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I missed out. I'm gonna have to look it up. I wonder what Weird Al's up to nowadays, man. You know,
I think he's got his hair's a little straighter now.
he's yeah.
I think I'm still playing.
I mean, definitely one of the greatest cover parody artists of our. I can't think.
I
of
mean, his
almost-
originals are pretty awesome too.
Yeah, I mean, I think he might be underrated as far as like what he can actually do musically in a way, because people are so used to him covering other stuff. But it's like, hey, he actually has to write that music and play that music, and I think that he's undercover like a very impressive musician.
Yeah. Well, he had a TV show on top of that.
Yeah, what was that?
UHF. I think
yeah.
it was called. And I think he's doing some internet-based show right now too.
And my cousins had UHF the movie on
Mm-hmm.
cassette. And we used to watch that all the time, and I remember like just the scene where they parodied the Indiana Jones part, where he's like running out and the big ball was chasing him.
Classic.
Yeah, I'll never forget that, man. That movie was wild too. So we had some. That's cool how we both were listening to Weird Al Yankovic growing up. Like, was there any other kind of music you were listening to? Were you listening to hip hop or punk or country? What were you kind of?
I was a lot more into the harder stuff for sure. When I was younger, I started playing in bands when I guess I was probably in like maybe 5th or 6th grade.
Okay.
I definitely was feeling the heavier stuff, like some Metallica,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't have the chops for that at the time, so it was
Yeah.
more like,
What instrument did you play in the bands?
I started off playing guitar.
Guitar.
Yeah, I was in a group with Robert Hokamp and Chris Hokamp, and this dude named Ben Briones.
Nice.
We were pretty good, man. We were like definitely the best 5th grade band this town's ever seen. I think it holds up. As no 5th grader band could touch us.
Yeah, no other 5th grade band could mess. Did you guys have an edgy name?
Nah, like we were called Air Ninja.
There you go, Air Ninja. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
It's that's like a combination of like Surf Ninjas and.
I think it was
Jordan
literally
and-
like, hey, there's some words. Let's go. Let's go back in the garage and play more
Yeah.
music,
Oh, look at this guy right here! Shout out to Pudge Brewer.
I will say something crazy.
Something crazy, right there. There you go, man.
I went to the river with him last weekend. We got pretty wild.
I can only imagine.
Kicked it with some Oklahomies.
Yeah, Pudge is the man. I like that, Oklahomies.
Yeah.
That's a good. I like that word, man. You with the quickness right there. So, did you start? Did you just kind of pick up the guitar and start playing 5th or 6th grade, or were your dad kind of played a little banjo?
Well-
but what kind of got you into wanting to play music?
Well, I was like actually taking piano lessons before that.
Okay.
And then, the Hokamp brothers, we lived close by, and we were making music together.
Mm-hmm.
Then Robert started taking guitar lessons. I started taking guitar lessons on top of the piano lessons. Chris was doing drums, and was like, hey, like we're a band now.
Like we play music together.
Yeah.
Where did you guys practice?
The Hokamp's garage.
Nice.
Yeah,
Got
it's
to
pretty
bless.
wild.
Got to bless the parents for that one, man.
Yeah,
You know,
they were pretty cool about it.
Yeah, that's cool. So did y'all ever play any shows around town?
Oh,
or
yeah.
Where
Oh,
did y'all
yeah.
play?
We did like a Strickland Middle School dance that was pretty.
Nice.
What do they call it? Lit now. I think that's how it was.
I think that's what the kids are saying.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could play that gig again because that was definitely the most receptive crowd. Like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, but like, if you're holding like a guitar and like being loud,
6th, 7th, and 8th graders
yeah,
are
they're
pretty
like,
into it.
oh, these guys must be good.
I remember when I was in middle school. I mean, that was when Blink-182 was getting really popular, and those kind of pop punk bands were coming up, and it seemed so many kids were starting to play guitar all of a sudden and skateboard because of Tony Hawk.
Like at the same time.
Yeah. But there was one band, and I can't remember what they were called, but I can remember it was this guy named John Herms, Matt Morefield, and Matt Macco, and they played like a school dance for us, and we're never allowed to play another school dance.
Oh,
again,
See, well, I wasn't doing the edgy stuff yet then.
Yeah.
Like, that was, kind of more. I don't know. Because shortly after those, I was with those guys playing a lot of pretty cool tunes, and then we kind of decided, hey, there's this crazy guy over here, Richard Haskins. We should just join his band real quick, and that was when we started getting banned from playing places.
Yeah, that can happen from time to time.
Yeah.
So you start out, you're playing piano, and then you start playing guitar. And did you play in the high school band at all? At Denton Ryan?
No, I
Did
was
you
more into the baseball stuff.
playing? That's what I was gonna ask. Because like I would say that probably you and Pudge are the two people who provide me with the clearest coverage of what's going on in the baseball world.
If you want to talk about baseball or pro wrestling, I can do a weekly segment with you. Man.
Exactly. Ren and Andrew, this feed is so well produced and underappreciated. Well, hey, thank you. You know, we'll take that. If you're enjoying the productions, that's what's up, man. Thank you.
Producers over there nodding his head.
Yeah. We feel appreciated, you know, because you feel that, because you appreciate us, man. So kind of growing up, man, what was, you know, your parents are listening to stuff too. You had Weird Al Yankovic, but what was kind of like your first musical memory where like you kind of saw or heard music? And
I'll tell you what, it was right out here.
Really?
The you know, those concerts they do, what they call them Twilight Tunes
the Twilight
now.
Tunes.
I remember there used to be more like daytime programming stuff too.
Okay.
Also, the Square was not nearly as like hopping as it is now,
Mm-hmm.
but that was always a thing.
Okay, always having music.
You know, the picnics
Mm-hmm.
and that was, you know, again with the Ho Camps, we'd come out here all the time and do that.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
That was.
So you've been a Denton resident for a long time, man. You've kind of seen the Square and the town kind of grow in a way, which is always cool to get that perspective. I moved here 4 years ago, and when I moved here almost 4 years ago, Denton County had just closed down, and LSA was being remodeled,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so there was this, you know. But I've seen, you know, we've both kind of sat back in the last, I'd say, 4 years that what I've seen a big resurgence in what's been happening on the Square.
Yeah.
A lot of live music venues.
I'm going to
opening
tie
up.
that directly to like when I started living on the Square.
All right,
It was like, hey,
definitely. It was once
Yeah.
DJ Party McFly showed up, it was like, oh man, I'm gonna be on the Square more often.
Yeah, well, like I was living above J&J's for, you know, a few years.
Oh, really?
I recently moved to just a couple blocks away, but
Nice, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So how long? Like, so you've known Juicy the Emissary, you know, Jesse Coulter. You've known him for a while, and you and I have talked. Tony Hawk loves chocolate milk. I'm down with that too. Miss Lippy's car is green. These two wiling out on the feed right now. See, we got the master troll in here, so Pudge had to take over the slot for tonight.
Thanks for picking up the slack for me.
Yeah,
Pudge.
that's what's up. So, what was how did you get to know Jesse? And you guys made music together. You kind of showed him how to make music, or gave him
No. I didn't show him how to make music.
or you gave him a few tips and tricks, maybe. I don't know. What's the story there? Tell me the story between you and Jesse.
All right, so like I said, with the first band I was in, we kind of started branching out and doing other things musically. And one of them was like, hey, you know, we can like go do these shows and we don't have to bring our gear. We can be rappers, dude. All right. No, it wasn't really like that. But then, so Juice was into producing beats already. He was doing a lot of instrumental stuff. He was also in some rap metal bands back in the day. If you can see rap metal Juice, he was a good guy.
I think I can, man.
Yeah. It's like listening to a lot of Korn.
Fred Durst, big influence deep down.
So when I started making beats, you know, he and I collaborated a little bit. We were using the same kind of programs and both kind of just really learning how to use them. So I like to tease that I taught him how to do it because I just knew one command that he didn't, you know. But you know, he's a much better player than I am.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what's crazy about him is when I first met him, like I had no idea like the range of abilities that he had, you know, where he was playing guitar, he could play piano, he would make beats, you know, and he could rap, you know, like.
And I'm in a country band with him too.
Really? That's awesome, man.
Also with the Camps there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because we all live within like 2 blocks.
Are y'all
of each other.
still, so that you, the Ho Camps, everybody's still friends? Everybody still lives up here?
Well, Chris is in Ireland. Everybody else out here.
Oh, that's cool, man. And when you said the country band, is that happening right now, or was this an older group?
No, we'll do like one show a year.
Really? What is it called?
Dangle Dixon.
You know, man, it happens. Dude.
It's
yeah, that's hilarious.
Look that up on Facebook. The tunes are pretty good.
I'll have to check it out, man. What do you play in it? Guitar?
I'm playing bass in that one.
Bass in it.
Mhm.
So you do multiple different instruments, man. That's what I always find so interesting is that when you meet somebody and you see the word DJ before. Like recently we had somebody who we were over at the Bearded Monk, and there was this guy who was like, well, DJs aren't real musicians. And so my buddy Ian, who's going to be on the show next week, he said, well, what's a real musician? He said, someone who can play the guitar. So Ian was like, hey, come out to Breakfast and Beats this weekend. So the guy comes out, and Ian brought out his guitar and was playing his guitar over his beats. And the guy walked up to him and was like, oh, man, I'm sorry. I had never seen that before.
Was the guy that said that like pretty young or what? Or
he was kind of a middle-aged guy, you know.
okay, I was gonna say he's either like a little too old or a little too young.
Yeah,
to get it.
yeah.
Like,
So So that's impressive, man. That you play all that stuff. And then you've been playing music in is it Wee Beasties?
The Wee
The Wee Beasties. Okay, the Wee Beasties. And what do you play in that?
It depends.
Yeah, it just kind of all
because
depends.
that thing's got so many moving parts.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, we got like, I'll play pretty much anything other than the horns with that band.
Right on, man. What's one of your favorite like memories growing up playing music that you can like recall?
You know, touring with Wee Beasties was pretty wild.
I'm sure.
That was fun. You know, when we had our like first rap group that we started, Vortexes, we had a lot of good times with that as well.
Mm-hmm. So what was your? See, that's what I was trying to remember. I was like, I was pretty sure that you were part of Vortexes.
Yeah.
And so who was all in that group?
That was me, Juice, Chris Ocamp.
Okay.
This dude Adam.
Okay.
And Monster MC Ian.
Yeah. Yeah. The first time I ever heard this music is Ian McClure. Or Ethan, not Ian. Ethan McClure has I don't know what album it is or what, but he's got it on an iPod, an original iPod. And we were hanging out, chilling by the campfire, just relaxing, having some drinks. And he was like, "Man, after you interviewed Ian, I've been wanting to show you the Vortexes, man." And I started listening to it, and that was good hip hop, man. It reminded me a lot of Hieroglyphics. Was something that I really enjoyed about it.
It really, resonated positively with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I, admittedly not the biggest hip hop head in that group.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really the Hieroglyphics guy. I'm more the like Master P guy.
Okay. Yeah. That kind of style. I mean, the Dirty South kind of style of hip hop, and compared to the West Coast.
I mean, we can go back to the Weird Al thing too. Like, All About the Pentiums was a better song than All About the Benjamins. Not gonna lie.
I remember that one too. That's the one that I do remember. I knew that song right there. Let's see, or Major Briggs. Oh man, both produced another Denton Folk, Michael Briggs or Major Briggs. Yeah, man. So you're in the Vortexes. You toured, and where did you go around when you were touring with the Wee Beasties? Where did you guys go? The Wee Beasties. Yeah, I said that correctly. Where did you guys go?
Through the South. Louisiana, Oklahoma, Texas. Maybe we did Arkansas. I don't remember. That was a lot of beers ago. I know we were in New Orleans for a little while. Like, somehow spent a couple days there.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
How many years ago was this? Or?
I mean, that band is still active, but
Yeah.
the specific memory I'm referring to, that was probably 10 years ago.
Oh, man.
But, that band's been around since 1999.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I know Haskins has been in the Denton music scene for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You've been doing your thing in the music scene. Juice, Munster's been doing his thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, like, you're doing more of DJ stuff, but you're still playing in bands. And I'll tell you what, man, I'm gonna come see Dangle when you guys are playing. I'm gonna definitely come out and see that because that just sounds like a good old time, man.
It's a good show.
I like me some country music, from time to time. So, what led to you start DJing? Did you DJ more? Did you DJ when you were younger, the Wikis, or was this kind of something?
Well, I was making beats. I've been making beats for a long time, which isn't necessarily DJing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But a lot of the skills translate. They cross over, and Haley's back when that was still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
They needed like a fill-in DJ one night. I think was the deal, and my buddy Blake was running it. Like, hey,
what's up, Sanford? Sanford Black walking in the studio.
Rock and roll, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically it's just like, hey, you can do this, right? How much did you say I'm getting paid? Yeah, I'll download an app on my phone real quick. But that was that was a few years back, and now I'm good.
Yeah.
But I was good then too. But
so you kind of hone your chops over the years of doing it. What's some of your favorite records to spin, or some stuff that you like to throw out there?
I like to catch people off guard with some. If it's a WWE pro wrestling entrance music, yeah, I'm throwing that out there. That's another one of my favorite genres.
Yeah. Who is your favorite pro wrestler?
Oh man, there's so many. I mean, of all time, I gotta go Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh yeah, man.
It's classic.
Exactly.
Denton Zone, right? I mean,
yeah.
You're not from here, but went to school here.
Yeah, I went to school at UNT. Not a lot of people know that.
North Texas State at the time, I believe.
Mm-hmm. My dad still calls it that.
Yeah.
Just today, I was at work, and I work at a place where we work with kids all the time and stuff, and they were like running around like jumping in this bounce house, and this one kid just like busted out the Randy Savage voice, you know, and I was like, I didn't know the young ones knew that kind of stuff, man. So I was cracking up, and man, I have a couple other buddies who still love the pro wrestling. The John Daly of this DJ game. That is too funny, man. The John Daly of the DJ game.
My boy Q.
Yeah, man. So you started playing at Haley's, and I actually got to play at Haley's one time, and it's always fun, man. That place, the 90s night that used to be over there, was pretty wild.
It was real sweaty.
Yeah, it would get very, very sweaty. But now over at Andy's, you guys are going to have a 90s night that's going to start to be coming back. So let's talk about that a little bit. Tell me about what's going on there.
Well, for the last, I guess, maybe like year or two, before they did all the renovations over there, I've been having a weekly there, which has been, there was no format. It was just like, hey, want to play some songs? Cool.
Yeah.
I'll do, like, play the pro wrestling stuff, whatever. But I think with school starting back up here, college kids, we're gonna kind of change the format to a little more 90s based. Try and have a little dance party going on in there.
Yeah.
Not that you can't dance to Stone Cold Steve Austin's entrance music,
exactly. You can always dance to that.
I think we're gonna get a little 90s with it. We did an 80s one too. I kind of like the 90s stuff better.
Yeah. Something about the 80s, the drums are too reverbed for me.
But one thing I found with all that is like almost every one of those dance tracks starts with a drum break, so I don't have to like worry about like the key,
the transitions,
yeah. I don't have to. There's not like some synth patch fighting another one. It's just go in.
So kind of like, let's talk about that, because I think a lot of people when they go and see a DJ, this is something I've been running into often. I've been playing shows, and I'll have people come up, and they don't understand that I'm playing like all my original stuff. Like, that's kind of the vibe. But when you're a DJ and someone comes up and asks for a request, do you have just like this huge arsenal of tracks? Like if someone comes up and asks for some Donna Summers, are you going to have some Donna Summers, or what do you do to kind of prepare, like to be able to please the crowd in a way, or is it just kind of like, look, sit back and let me do my job?
There's been this like incredible technology, or this tool developed in the last few years called the internet. And I'm out here, like, you can immediately download any song. So I don't know, a lot of DJs don't like getting requests because it's, hey, leave me alone, it's my show.
Yeah, I can.
But I like playing requests because it's like maybe a song I never heard before, or like, hey, maybe you should be up here instead of me.
Yeah.
But I know Juice and Pudge were doing that no request night.
Yeah.
And that was kind of when I decided, like, I'm not just gonna fill in on the DJ thing. I'm gonna go all in on this and practice and get better. But while they're doing no requests, like, no, I'm out here doing all requests.
Okay, yeah,
like,
for
right,
sure.
Right in your face, Juice and Pudge. How you doing?
change it up a little bit, So when you were saying like you're gonna practice and get better at this, what are kind of some of the things that if there were kids who were like, hey, give me like your 3 things that I should focus on if I want to be a good DJ, not just somebody who presses play but wants to have quality transitions. What do you want to focus on?
Well, you need to be able to hear the beat, to match the BPM, match the tempo, whatever, or have transitions that you don't necessarily have to do that, but that's a basic part. And then understanding like the phrases of the song. If you're mixing in to the middle of a verse, then like I'm gonna think you sound like trash. But
yeah,
maybe
what do you mean by phrases?
Like you've got a standard, like your intro, verse, bridge, chorus, whatever you want to call it. And if you typically you got, like, say we got a 12-bar verse, and you decide you want to like mix into it like in the 3rd bar, then your mix is gonna sound
not clean,
like bad to me.
Yeah, for sure. So would you say that like more in like the bridge is kind of what you're looking for? Like,
every song's different. You just have to kind of know. Depends on what your next one's gonna be.
Okay, that's cool.
But
man.
What's really cool now is that big drop.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to. You can hear like the music transitioning, and if people can anticipate what's going to happen, just the way the song's crafted, and if you can get something else to happen, but that's still kind of the same thing, like they're still dancing or whatever,
yeah,
and
Do you kind
Wouldn't be
of
surprised.
judge like? Are you the kind of guy who comes in with a certain set list, or you judge
No.
the crowd and
I
kind of see what's
completely judge the crowd.
right on, man? Because I've gone over there a couple times, and you'll be playing some hip hop, and then the next thing is some reggaeton or something
love
that's
that
a little
stuff.
a little bit moombahton style,
Yeah.
and you get people dancing, and that's what I really like about you, man, is that there's not a whole lot of an ego going into it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
you
like,
haven't talked to me enough then,
yeah,
bro.
I guess. Well, I mean, hey, man, maybe
No.
when it comes to the DJ and stuff, like that's what I'm saying is you kind of take a look around and you say, all right, are people are dancing? Are they having fun? Okay, maybe they're not dancing as much as I'd want, so let's try this, and then let's try this. You know?
The format that I've got going up there right now, which is, I'm glad I set it up this way, was I have a guest DJ with me every week. In fact, you're my guest tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we trade off every 30 minutes. So it doesn't, you're not going to get stale for the people hanging out, and I get to take a break. And every guest I, bring in is someone that I respect their talent, so I can kind of see what they're doing. I can learn from them. They can learn from me. So I feel like for someone that has been DJing for as short a time as I am, I've only been like 3 years, which still, that's not a short amount of time, but like, I feel like I was able to progress very quickly.
Yeah.
Because I got to see people like Spin, people like you, people like Juice, Pudge, Will Majors is real good.
Yeah. Yeah, Will Majors is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've heard him a couple times. Shout outs.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to that guy, man. So how did you originally get the gig over at Andy's? I think a lot of people always wonder, oh, how'd that guy do that? How did he get that?
Well, to anyone that wants to get a show somewhere, like, I highly recommend like hang out there.
Yeah, that's a really good.
If they like you, like as a person, you're pretty likely to like get a shot. But if you're just some dude dropping off a mixtape and like drinking a glass of water and then dipping, like,
yeah,
you're probably not even gonna listen to it.
Yeah, so you would say it, going out and actually showing up, hanging out at the gigs, hanging out at shows that are happening, talking to people who are at the bar.
If people like you, you will get an opportunity.
So there you go.
I mean, you
yeah.
can botch that opportunity, but you'll get you'll get one.
So being likable is definitely something that you would
Not
say
even
is
necessarily
positive.
likable as much as like noticeable.
Just somebody who's different and can make and makes things happen, man. So something else that you've made happen that is really cool is you've gotten a sponsor.
Oh yeah, that's the same.
So-
That's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Tell me how that goes down, man. What was that kind of discussion like?
Well, we kind of were goofing around, joking about it. It's a drink that I enjoy, Burnett's vodka.
Yeah.
It's I would drink it while I'm playing, and we were kind of joking about, and that'd be funny if you get that like kind of linked up for a sponsorship, and then somebody knew somebody, and next thing you know, they're like printing me banners and sending me a welcome to the team gift package. So,
What comes in a welcome to the team gift basket?
vodka.
Some fruits, some
Yeah.
assorted nuts and cheeses.
Yeah, well, if you're not familiar with Burnett's, it's the cheap flavored vodka, deliciously
yeah,
flavored vodka. by the
delicious.
way.
Yeah,
And they sent some pretty unique flavors in that first package.
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I remember when I walk in and there's you walk into Andy's and there's the two big now Burnett's bottles that are there.
Yeah,
so.
and have you seen the banners they printed up for me?
I might have seen one of them, but I haven't been over there in a minute.
It's got I got that title belt that's part of my DJ setup.
Yeah.
So they've got this huge banner, and it's actually Todd Little designed it. It's got the title belt with my face on the front of it, and like Burnett's bottles and like a Texas flag.
That's pretty sweet.
It's pretty
man.
rad. Like,
That's real cool. Dude.
yeah. Something I'll definitely hold on to.
I think I can't remember the exact like first time that we really met, man. It was who knows, like it was probably at a show at some point. But I remember I think the first time I ever saw the title belt was when you were playing over at you were playing a Christmas party for LSA and some other people over at the lab.
That was a 90s night too, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, they were playing 90 and it was the title belt. So how did you get a title belt printed with DJ Party McFly? Because it's like the real deal looking,
Yeah.
man.
Well, there's Rec League, this group. So a couple of them commenting actually.
Yeah.
They stayed at my house for
They're out of-
Octopia.
Are they out of
San Francisco.
California? Okay, yeah.
So for Octopia, they were performing and they stayed at my apartment, or a couple of them did. And there was that championship belt in the pawn shop window directly below my apartment, and every day walking by it, just like that thing was like Wayne's guitar in Wayne's World.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, man.
And so that,
She
we
will
were
be
kind of
mine.
joking about it every day, and then I went off to go do something else, and they were all at my house, and I come home. Rob Rush is in there with his shirt off, just wearing it, like taunting me with it.
Oh no.
So we kind of talk a little trash, and basically I've got the belt now.
That's what I like to hear.
And you can order the custom nameplate.
That's
to
sweet,
go
man.
onto it.
That's I mean that thing. It really it works with the DJ setup, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate those guys leaving that behind.
Yeah, that's that. Big
Whether
up.
I won it off him or not remains to.
Yeah, big ups to them on that.
Yeah.
Man, Pudge, you need to go for a walk or something, man. You've been commenting on this way too often, man. But
Yeah.
we'll let it slide for right now, man. We'll let it slide.
No, keep tuning in.
Yeah, exactly. Keep hanging out with us. Apparently, we're a little underappreciated here, but we're happy to be here, man. We're happy. So you have seen you've seen a lot of things change on the square.
Mm-hmm.
Andy's has changed a lot. Got some great waffles downstairs, and it's a no smoking venue now too.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything's going that way. Like in a couple months, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is kind of the stuff that you've seen, bro?
That was dynamite comment.
Yeah,
by Pudge
that was
there.
perfect, man. I felt I could feel the burn right there on that one. So living here for a while, what are some of the things that you've kind of? He goes, I be walking by. Oh, I be walking. Don't be walking.
No, that is
by.
his thing.
Yeah.
He goes on walks.
I know, it's nice.
Here's
It's a good way to
something.
relax.
Maybe we can get some feedback from the commenters. Actually.
Yeah.
So when people are jogging or walking, they're listening to their iPods or
Mhm.
not pods. We got phones now. Whatever. You got your Zune.
Yeah.
And you're
Zoom.
Yeah.
No way.
So Pudge doesn't use headphones, even like he's just jogging or walking down the street.
Yeah.
He's got it loud. Like out the speaker. And then I brought that up to someone else. My girlfriend said she does the same thing.
What?
It's like, what? You don't wear your headphones when you're jogging? That seems like lunatic stuff. Well, apparently I'm the one that's wrong here.
I guess I'm wrong too, man. Because apparently, I still wear my headphones, man.
Yeah, my jogging music's way too explicit to not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I roll by listening to if I roll by with my Donna Summers, people would be like, "What is this guy listening to?" Man, it was funny last night or yesterday at Breakfast and Beats, Lofty Beats. He was dropping all the '80s, and there was like a family reunion going on, and he specifically was DJing towards the grandmother. Like if the grandmother
Yeah.
was dancing.
Yeah.
So is there anybody when you're playing music? Are there certain people that you kind of focus on sometimes? And
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And so. Yeah. What do you kind of go for? What do you look for in a person to be like, this is who I might DJ to tonight?
Obviously the person having the most fun,
Okay.
or like the ringleader.
Yeah.
You don't want to find the person that's like too cool.
Mm-hmm.
You want to find the person that the too cool person is like trying to be cooler than. I don't know. If you see someone kind of toe tapping, like, hey, what's this person into? Because I got you.
It's almost like a chant, let's see if I can get this person up dancing, in it maybe. I'm trying to hear all the fans say my name when I'm on my stroll.
Yeah,
Pudge.
Pudge just walks around the square like a
Pudge,
music video.
a.k.a. Herschel Walker. I like that, man. I like that. My dad always said, Pudge, you got to be a legend in your own mind before you can be one in anybody else's.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
That's how you got to keep going. So, man, I kind of want to talk a little bit more about pro wrestling and baseball with you because, we've talked about music, man. We've talked about growing up in Denton and DJing and getting that kind of stuff going, playing in all the different groups. But like I said, you seem to know a thing or two about baseball, man.
I mean,
so,
yeah, let's do it.
what are we looking at right now? What are your predictions for the Rangers? What are we seeing? What's the ups and the downs?
It's not looking good.
It's not looking good?
No.
Well, educate me a little bit here, man. Educate me.
Well, they've been losing more than they've been winning recently. Typically, they've been scoring less runs than their opponents, which is typically not going to get it done.
Yeah, not really.
They trade off Yu Darvish at the trade deadline.
That blew me away.
That's a good move because what are you going to do? We're not making the playoffs.
He
so.
wasn't. I just didn't expect it. I think for myself, someone who's more of the casual baseball watcher, when all of a sudden I hear, something a person that became a household name all of a sudden he's moving, like he's going.
Well, he was at the end of his contract anyway, so he's going to test free
Oh.
agency. So you're not guaranteed to have him back next year. You still have the same shot at having him next year right now as you did a month ago.
Yeah,
But someone else is paying his contract right now, and we got a prospect in return. So
that's what's. Where's he going now?
Dodgers, Los Angeles.
Oh, he's gonna go out to the Dodgers, huh?
And yeah, so they're looking pretty good. That's probably who's got to be your favorite right now.
So who are we seeing for a World Series this year? Are we seeing Dodgers or?
I mean, the Astros are pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. And then the Rangers they beat the Dodgers or the Houston the other day. Like
I mean, it's baseball. You can win some, lose some.
I know it's crazy. I mean, how many games are there in a season? Like
162.
162 games, and like I'm not trying to say anything about football or anything, but you have
Football's fake.
Yeah.
Baseball and pro wrestling. That's all I'm saying.
And so, like, did you watch a lot of pro wrestling as a kid?
Yeah, and still.
And still, what's like, who's blowing up the pro wrestling scene now? Has Stone Cold like made a resurgence into the game, or is he? Like, who are the pro wrestlers that we need to watch out for nowadays?
You know, Brock Lesnar's out there holding the Universal Championship right now.
That guy's a giant.
I think he's defending it against Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns at SummerSlam
That's awesome.
next weekend, next Sunday. You probably find me posted up somewhere watching that on Sunday night.
Did you go to WrestleMania when it came to town?
Oh yeah,
What was that like, man?
I don't know.
I just had a good
I got
time.
to the parking lot real early.
I just had a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
probably half the fun of some of those events is the tailgating, you know?
Oh yeah, at least.
You know?
I mean, we've been doing this thing recently. Got a friend that kind of hooked it up with some sweet tickets,
Nice.
and so we'll go in there like wearing suits and kind of like be playing the wrestling villain, kind of like looking down at all the wrestling fans. and stuff.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
man. You know, I think what really needs to happen, man, is you need to start either DJing some Rangers games or some wrestling matches, man. Like we need to have
Yeah,
DJ
let's do
Party
it.
McFly up there pressing the button when they're walking out, man.
I mean, that's a lot of the like the reggaeton stuff that I'm playing on Tuesday nights comes directly from, you know, when you're at the game, it shows you on the scoreboard like what the name of the song is.
Really?
For their walk-up music.
Nice.
Whoa, like Elvis Andrus got some fire jams, bro. Like, so
That's what
Yeah.
he's. Yeah, that's cool, man. I never even thought about. And so, that's what's so cool, man. About like doing when you can. That's like another way of branching out and finding new music. Go to the game, you know,
Yeah,
pay
exactly.
attention to the game, but also, hey, what's this track coming in right here?
I guess basically what it's come down to is I like any music that people are walking up to something to do. Wrestling
something
and
that
baseball.
something that you know, and it's. Are there any other sports that you can think of? I mean, besides, I guess, boxing. You know,
It's like,
where-
everything where you walk up to something.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like there's not a whole lot of other sports where everybody gets. And so if you had to have a walk-up song, man,
Yes, Who Let the Dogs Out.
who, dude, that wasn't even a second of thought, and you were like, nah,
I think
man.
that's the first time I thought about this. Except for I would have to change it all the time. There's just too many good songs out there. But,
And what if would it be the same if you were walking out for your wrestling match? You know, what would you have on then?
oh no, like It's Raining Men. Just get them a little bit confused before I go out
Yeah,
there.
really confuse them,
Yeah.
man. And I wonder what your wrestling name would be, man. Have you thought about this at all?
I don't necessarily have a wrestling name for myself, but I have created these wrestling characters in my head.
Okay.
Like I don't know who would like play them. I got this one called the Misogynist. He's like he's a masseuse or like a massage therapist. But the storyline is like crazy, dude. Like I don't even know if I have time to break it all
We
down.
got
but
it would just get too deep.
yeah, I mean
Oh,
it's
man.
a very complex arc. He sees a rise to the top as like a fan favorite, like he's the misogynist, but then he gets into trouble with some ladies' issues because he's also a misogynist.
This is
And there's a lot to it.
The play on words is hilarious.
And also,
man.
like,
so he'd be a villain basically.
Well, no, he goes,
Oh,
he turns.
ups and downs,
Yeah,
man.
and then since he's like the massage therapist, he's got like all the baby oil, just such a greasy guy. It would be a good character.
Yeah, man. And I
I imagine a ponytail. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, when I was a kid, man, me and my little brother, we actually had a trampoline, and we bought another trampoline from
That's
my,
danger
my
right
neighbors. We had two trampolines next to each other, and me and that kid wrestled like until we would wrestle all day, and we would have like matches. Like we would have our parents come out, and like we would do like the full scripts and everything, man. Like when I was probably 12 years old, I told my dad like I want to be a professional wrestler one day, and he just like shook his head. He's like, "What?" Like I
shook his head and bought you another trampoline.
Yeah.
Now you got 3 trampolines.
He's like, if it'll get you in shape, kid, that's what I like to hear, you know, because right now you're slacking. And my little brother, I'll never forget his name, dude. I don't know where he came up with it, but he called himself Big Papa Mosio.
Mosio.
And his whole thing was where he would do the beached whale. Our older brothers used to do that to us, where they lay like right here on your chest, and they just and it forces all the air. So that's what he would do, and that was his move. Was Big Papa Mosio was from the beach down in Florida, and he would do the beached whale.
I like that he has a hometown.
Yeah, yeah.
See,
yeah.
that was a crucial part of the entrance before. Like, you know, you got Macho Man. Was he like Hollywood, Florida, or something like that?
And I'll share some embarrassing information right now too. I used to wear Jinkos when I would wrestle. Those were my
So you
the
like
pants
kind of
and
like an
shorts.
insane clown posse
In
kind
a
of
way,
thing going?
in a
or-
way, but my Jinkos had the character on him. He was called Flamehead, and because he had big old red hair that was like a flame, and so I would spike my hair up with gel.
So that was you.
and that was me. Yeah, so
I picture Flamehead like definitely doing a lot of the aerial stuff.
Man, we had a lot of acrobatic stuff. I remember, like, I used to pretend like I was about to. And see, I'm glad that I can talk to somebody about this who understands the moves that I'm going to describe, like a power bomb.
Okay.
You know, and that was like wasn't it Steve Nash and the Wolfpack and all those guys?
Yeah, well, Steve Nash was the basketball player.
Yeah, well, I thought there was
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash, thank you. I was like, Steve Nash played for, you know, the Suns and the Mavs.
Yeah,
What am I
Kevin Nash
thinking?
had the jackknife power bomb.
That's what it was.
And his
man.
partner Scott Hall.
Scott Hall.
Razor Ramon.
And see,
Yeah.
the Scott Hall reminds me of what maybe like your character, the misogynist, that greasy
Yeah.
hair with the Jerry curl in the front, man.
That's also one of my favorites. Definitely was him for Halloween one year.
Man, did it break your heart whenever Sting like went to the NWO? Like, cause that really,
Yeah.
cause like that the NWO, you know, Wolfpack, woo, you know,
Yeah.
that always got me. And Hulk
It's a good
Hogan
song,
was. It was interesting how Hulk Hogan went from. I love how this went from music to just straight pro wrestling talk. I'm
into it.
I know I'm liking it
Yeah.
too. Like when Hulk Hogan was such a beloved character, you know, by people, you know, especially in the '80s.
That's what I'm talking about with the misogynist, though. You got to have your ups and downs. You got to have your heel turn.
Yeah, and then the way he like this part of the beard was
Yeah.
dark and this was bleached, man. Like
Do you remember when he turned? Like when he came out?
I kind of do.
It was Nash and Hall were in the ring, and like as the outsiders, like
Yeah.
coming over from like WWF to WCW, and then they're supposed to have like a mystery partner in the match, but no one knew who it was.
Yeah.
And you know, out comes Hogan, and you
Yeah.
think Hogan's coming to defend the like good guys, and then he turns heel.
That's
and
right.
And you know, the crowd's throwing trash in the ring. It's
Yeah.
good stuff. I
Was-
think that was SummerSlam, Bash at the Beach. Yeah.
Was he wrestling Diamond Dallas Page? Was that who?
I want to say that
think
was
they-
Macho Man and could have been Sting. I feel bad for not knowing that.
Yeah, man. I remember. So when I was like 12 or 13, I went to go buy a Diamond Dallas Page like VHS at Walmart,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't let me buy it. They made my mom come in because she was like, "I'm just gonna sit in the car." I was like, I had no idea that this, and because like the footage in that they had the fight with or the match with him and with Dennis Rodman.
Oh yeah.
When they
and
just,
Karl
like-
Malone somehow
yeah.
got involved, right?
Yeah, and then Karl Malone got
Yeah.
involved, and so you had like this Utah Jazz against the Chicago Bulls type.
Yeah.
But like, what I'm always interested in is like, not even interested, but I mean, you can't fake that footage. I don't know how you fake like a guy getting hit with chairs right there, like, because it was.
Are you trying to suggest that wrestling isn't real?
No, I'm
'Cause
not
I
suggesting.
will not be hearing that.
Well, no, it is real, but that's what I'm saying is like people. It's like if you're gonna say that it's fake, like
I
you
said
can-
football was fake.
not you. But if individuals are going to say it's fake, like how do you explain this to me? Even Diamond Dallas Page brings that up. He's like, people want to say this is fake, but you can just watch them like beat on him with those chairs, man, and just get wrecked.
Like if it wasn't, I mean, people wouldn't watch it if it wasn't like
Yeah, it's got to be entertaining.
you know, it's just suspension of disbelief, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But, like, come on.
I mean, those dudes like. You know, Mankind with the sock on his hand and
Yeah.
all that, dude. Those guys were brutal on each other, man.
But that's why it was fun to watch, right?
Yeah, man, it was insane. Like, even my dad was like, "These guys are jumping off cages on it. Like, there's nothing, you know, that's crazy." And Mankind would just beat himself to a pulp, man, and just
He's a
love-
legend.
Yeah, and his biography was actually really interesting to read too, man. I delved into that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a pretty smart guy for someone that seems so like not there.
Yeah, someone so crazy as well puts a sock on his hand and attacks people
Yeah.
with it. If you had to choose like a favorite, I guess like the finishing move. We had the rock bottom, and the diamond cutter, and then the Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah, that's classic.
If you had to choose a favorite, what would it be?
I like the Razor's Edge,
And what exactly was the Razor's Edge? What did he?
It was like a crucifix power bomb. Like he had you out here, but there's like some theatrics,
Yeah, you
You
gotta
had
have
to like
it.
throw your toothpick out.
Yeah, that's right.
Make sure your hair's slicked back.
He always had the toothpick.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, I'll never forget when Goldberg came onto the scene.
Yeah.
Because the spear was just such a powerful move to like watch. And then what was his other one? Oh,
the jackhammer.
The jackhammer,
Yeah.
which was like a hold you up suplex.
I think that's about all he had too.
And he played professional football, didn't he? I thought
I don't know if he played pro. I know he played college at like Georgia.
I thought he was a linebacker for
like
Atlanta.
Yeah. Probably.
Man,
Football's fake. I'm glad he tried.
Man, I don't even want to know who's going to get offended by the football fake thing out there. So, Pudge Brewer hasn't commented in a minute out there.
He's probably too busy listening to his
Yeah,
phone with
exactly. Walking around like
no
this.
headphones. Yeah.
Can't pay attention to it, man. So, man, another question that I do have, kind of, we've talked about pro wrestling, man. We've talked about baseball. We've talked about DJing. What is over the years that you've been doing this and playing music, playing guitar, playing, the WeBCs, playing in Vortexes, what keeps you going, man? What keeps you enjoying music and just having fun?
I mean, I really, really enjoy entertaining people.
Okay.
And myself included.
Mm-hmm.
So, if there's something, it's the same thing like with pro wrestling too. Like, if it's something that people want to see or something want to watch, like, I'm into it. Like,
did you kind of like as a young kid? Did you kind of feel that like I enjoy entertaining people? Like, did you ever do like any plays or anything like that?
I did a little bit,
yeah.
not like at an advanced level or
Yeah,
anything like that.
yeah.
But I mean, like, definitely, take your mandatory fine arts classes or whatever you want to say. And then I've been, performing live music, since I was doing piano recitals when I was 8. Probably,
So you're doing piano recitals at the age of 8 too, man.
Yeah, I've been playing live shows for a long time.
That's really
and like
cool.
I really can't even think about like people like, well, what, like, you gonna hang them up or whatever. Like, no, I'm not okay. Like, no.
Yeah. I just turned 30 in June, and I've anytime I ever think about like, am I ever gonna stop doing the music? It's like, nah. Why would no? It's just too much fun, and it's a hobby and it's entertainment, and it's fun to. It's fun to be part of why people are having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if anyone tells you that they don't want a lot of attention, then they're probably kind of lying, right?
Just a little bit.
I really enjoy attention.
I mean, I've admitted that myself too. I'm like, I don't like to say I'm doing this all for myself, but I don't mind a little love.
Yeah, but if you didn't like doing it, then you wouldn't do it. Like,
Yeah.
Go do something else.
Yeah, I've always wondered what the interview process for working in a toll booth is like.
Can you sit still for how long is your shift?
Do you
Yeah.
despise people and can
Yeah.
sit for 8 to 12 hours?
Have you
Absolutely.
Have you ever shoplifted? Like, that's about-
That's all it takes right there, man.
I mean, I gotta sit still at my day job, and it's like,
What do you do for a day
I
job?
don't really. That's,
Let's not talk about it. All right, fine. We'll move on, man. We'll move on. We won't even
I
discuss
like
it.
I like the mystique,
No, I like that. Like I have my buddy Ian. Like 3 months ago, this guy came out to Breakfast and Beats, and we've kind of been hanging. He's a good friend of Sanford's. I still haven't asked him what he does for work. I have no idea. I'd rather just live in the mystery as far as that goes, man.
Yes,
You know.
you only want to know so much about your close friends,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what
What you do when I'm not around is no concern to me.
Exactly. To me, you're all. Now, one thing that I love, man, is when you walk by and you see the name DJ Party McFly, I feel like that draws people in.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a name where people like that.
it's goofy. It's like
Yeah.
better than like DJ Steve.
I don't know.
No offense to DJ Steve. Steve if he's out
Is there a DJ Steve out there? I mean, you get some hate mail from DJ
Yeah.
Steve. Hey,
His fans are just angrily
Mad.
tweeting at me.
How dare you rip on DJ Steve, DJ Party McFly?
Yeah.
That's not right, man. Have you ever thought about like, oh man, one of these days, man, if we got to get you the full Marty McFly or outfit.
I mean,
going
I've
on,
done
man.
it before.
Have you step out of a DeLorean right
Oh,
when
if we get the
set
DeLorean
starts?
out here, yeah, let's do
Oh
it.
man, that could be possible. If
Oh.
DeLorean's out there, he might need another sponsor. you know?
I've seen one in Denton before.
I wonder who if anybody out there watches this interview and you know who has the DeLorean, please let us know. Let us know if you can find who's got that.
I'll bring my
that
own fog
DeLorean.
machine to pour out the door and everything too. That's a big part of my DJ
Yeah,
stuff
man.
too.
Who
the
knows?
fog
I
machine.
might. Ooh, if I can find myself a lab coat and a wig,
Yeah,
I can roll. Yeah, I'll roll through his dock.
and if not, then you can be Flamehead and misogynist and just tag team this thing a different
Oh
way.
man, yeah, exactly. Come in as our pro wrestling.
Yeah.
We've actually joked about
Go get some spray tans together.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't even want to know what that would look like. When I was in high school, man, we were joking around and this kid brought some rub-on tan stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And so like we're in the locker room and I was like, "Hey man, hey, what's up, Jen?" She's very smart. I went, "Yeah, you can hear us out there. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's wild, huh?"
Can't hear you though.
Yeah. And so we were in the locker room and this kid was like, "Hey Mike, I brought this rub-on tan stuff, man. You should put it on." And so I
Sounds
did.
like a classic prank. Like,
Yeah, well, it was pretty good. So I rubbed it on, and all of a sudden the coach looked at me. He's like, "Look, Roy, what is on your face, and what's going on?" Because I was sweating, and so there were sweat lines like from where the tan was disappearing.
Oh yeah, that stuff will run.
Yeah, yeah. And then of course, I couldn't get my own back, so I like was tan from like here and over, and it just looks hilarious, man. But I should go get a spray tan one day and just see. It might look weird with the freckles, though. I don't know.
We went and did it last year, or not last year, 2 years for Halloween because we're wrestlers for Halloween. It's like I saw a little
awesome.
group on. I was like, "Hey, bro,
Who did you do this with?
Blake McDaniel." I was
Oh,
I was like, "Hey,
man.
you want to really commit to this or not?" Like,
Yeah.
because I got a group on for spray tans right down the road.
Yeah, man. And shout out to Blake McDaniel. He's been doing a great job over there at Andy's.
That's who
bringing a lot
first
of
booked me at
different-
Haley's.
Man,
I mean, I booked me at Andy's before.
I didn't know that he did the booking over at Haley's. And what I love about Blake is he has a very stern look on his face, but then when you walk up to him, shake his hand, he's very, very friendly, very approachable guy.
After he gives you the ocular pat down.
Yeah, you got to make sure. You don't want to mess with that dude either. No, I heard he's pretty tough actually. He's been bringing in some cool acts. He brought in Froggy Fresh, I believe is what
That was
they're
a fun
called.
show. Yeah, I got to be a part of that show.
What were you doing up there?
I was DJing
DJing. Was that for Fab Deuce?
for Fab Deuce and just for
them as
the,
well?
not for Froggy Fresh.
Just-
He had his own touring DJ, but the keep the night moving. Which was weird because that was an all ages show, and I was like, "Oh, hey, bro, I don't have radio edits. Is this cool?" It's like, yeah, just play the same things that you always do, except for like maybe less 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Man, I was like, man, I'm gonna play some like Rihanna. That's on the radio, right? That's
Yeah.
gotta be cool. Man, that's the raunchiest stuff out there. Dude. I was so embarrassed. I was playing this, like the little kids' moms are looking at me. Like, I guess I'm not getting booked for any birthday parties, but it's all good.
No bar mitzvahs coming through, no quinceañeras.
I'd love to do a quinceañera.
I mean, I used to live. I lived next to some people, and they had a quinceañera. I think it went for like 12 hours.
yeah, that's a
Like,
party,
you
dude.
just been hanging out, sitting in the house and watching TV. I'm like, this is like. Eventually, got so long that I just tuned it out. Like I didn't even know it was still going. Walked outside. I was like, it's been 14 hours. These people are still
Dude.
partying.
Me and Pudge were on a Mexican baseball team together, and got invited to a couple of those.
Man, they they are events, man. There is more food, and it all smelled so good. I was mad. I was like, I kind of just want to go crash it. Just be like,
Yeah.
hola, and walk right in and see what goes down, man.
It's good stuff.
Could be delicious. Man, it's awesome to like. That's the one thing that I love. And you're like, you don't want to know too much about your close friends, but I like to get people in here and have conversations and learn a little bit more about them, not just about what they do musically, but whether they enjoy pro wrestling, whether they enjoy pro baseball, whether football is fake. We've all got our opinions out there, man. So like we've covered stuff like what your parents were listening to, James Taylor, Billy Joel. Your dad had a banjo, which is funny that we have like that kind of. My dad had a guitar, but he never played the guitar very, very well. So I took over, man. But the last question I want to ask, so I can make sure to bring you something for the show tomorrow night. What is your favorite snack, man?
Ooh, snacks.
Snacks, man.
Oh man. I'm more of like the salty snack guy as opposed to the sweet snack guy.
There you go.
Like pretzels are pretty good.
Yeah.
And pork rinds are pretty good.
Oh, man.
I'm like definitely into the sunflower seed game.
There you go. That's the baseball right there.
Yeah, I used to, you get all the different flavors and mix them together to kind of make your own different flavor.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. I've never even thought about that, like jelly beans.
Yeah.
In a way, with sunflower seeds. That's what's up, man.
I tweeted at David sunflower seeds one time, one of my MS Paint creations. It's a can of Copenhagen wintergreen on top of a David sunflower seed. But they haven't made that flavor yet.
Oh,
if we can get
man.
chewing tobacco flavored sunflower seeds,
It would help a lot.
Man,
That would be
change the game of baseball.
That's for sure. Well, man, Matt, DJ Party McFly, whatever you know him as, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
I'm stoked to be out tomorrow. Every Tuesday, it's going to be changing a little bit. Every Tuesday, you can go out to Andy's, watch my man right here play. Come watch us play tomorrow night.
Yeah, you tomorrow night.
Once again, Denton, Texas, stay tuned and chill out right here on DentonRadio.com. We'll see you next time.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out DentonRadio.com for new Denton artists and where they're playing next. While you're surfing the internet, make sure you check out our friends Classic of Denton at ClassicofDenton.com.